Hello, welcome back to another episode of This or That. And in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about a very popular fragrance during this point of time, especially from here onwards to the winter time. This is a very popular fragrance, one for its very versatile scent profile, so to say, because it is a combination of oud and rose, but done in a more modern way. So it's kind of got a little bit more of a masculinity that comes out of it. There's a little bit of a dark DNA attached to it as well. Plus, this is one of those scents that gets a lot of compliments as well, and in situations like weddings or large celebrations, this is a fantastic fragrance to wear. Now, having said all of those good things, this is also the DNA that is also hated by quite a few people because they don't like this because it's right out there in their face kind of a DNA. I'm talking about the popular Ombre Nomade from the house of Louis Vuitton's DNA. Okay, and in today's video, we are going to talk about two fragrances which are inspirations or which are twists of that particular DNA, and they're actually quite popular. Now, the reason why we're talking about them is a lot of people are actually confused as to which one should you consider getting, because there is a difference of price, and that difference of price is, I think, quite substantial. So one, we are talking about the Ibrahim Al Qureshi's Blue Oud. Okay, now this comes in a bottle that looks like this. It's a very beautiful blue colored bottle. There is a series of fragrances that are there in the Ibrahim Al Qureshi series, especially this is the Blue Oud, then there is the dark lavender, which I absolutely love the most, and then there is the golden amber, and there is the Kashmir musk as such, right? And then there is also a sandalwood as well. I think it's part of some Al Waif series, something one of those series, but this one is the most popular among all of these. Okay, now then there was one fragrance that came out sometime last year called the Al Muthalif signature from the house of NUSUK Perfumes. Now, for the ones who don't know about this, this is a sub brand of Riff's perfumes. Probably you can say that it's more of a premium line in that segment. Okay, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about the differences that there is between the two. Okay, and I have done my best to kind of find differences between the two because it's literally quite difficult to actually do it. Okay, the biggest difference, of course, is the price factor. We'll talk about that, but aside to that, if we are thinking about which one should you consider getting, let's talk about that as well. Okay, you're watching the Perfume Experience. My name is Rodney. Let's get going right after this intro. So here is the Muthalif signature, okay, or rather Al Muthalif signature. It comes in a kind of beautiful bottle like this, very nice. What I've done is I put on this on my left arm here, okay, and this is the Ibrahim Al Qureshi's Blue that I put this on my right hand. Okay, now I'll share the general scent profile DNA for the ones who don't know what the Ombre Nomade DNA is. It's basically a oud, leather, tobacco with a little bit of floral elements, primarily the rose that comes into it, a little bit of a sandalwood as well. So it's got a little bit of a sweet nuance. It's also got a little bit of that typical oud skankiness that you kind of get, but in a very smooth, blended, nicely, curved, smoothened way kind of thing. No harsh tones as such, and a little bit of a spicy nature as well, but also a good amount of floral vibe. It kind of is a very dark masculine, oud rose combo as such, so to say. It is not light in the air. It's a very dense scent. It is very macho. It performs absolutely wonderful, and I'll talk to you about that. Now, when you wear the Al Muthalif signature, the first thing that you would notice is the initial spray is a lot stronger. Okay, it's very strong. The single spray kind of punches out like a really strong, comes out right across to you. Now, what I've noticed here is that the initial opening, the Al Muthalif has a lot of rose and oud coming together. Okay, so the amount of rose note that you kind of get is a lot higher. So it kind of almost literally feels like a rose note that comes out first with a little bit of amber, and then the oud follows along with that. Okay, so that is the first thing that you will notice here. But after a certain time, after about 15-20 minutes time, you will notice that the rose starts to soften up a little bit and the oud starts to take a little more dominance across the scent as such. The oud is itself as such, it's a more dominant note across the scent. You will find a little bit of those floral hints, you will find a little bit of that sandalwood, but the typical rose oud combo is still there. Okay, but the kind of rose element that you kind of got right at the opening, that kind of goes down a lot and then you still get more of the oud. Okay, so that is the primary thing that you notice in the very opening as this. In this case, it's quite the opposite scenario. When you put on, you don't really get a loud opening, so to say. The initial spray that you get, the first few seconds of what you spray, you don't actually anticipate a lot. But what you kind of get is a more of a woody opening, okay, not oud opening, more of a woody opening, more woody, more leathery type of an accord is something that you kind of get more. And then eventually, after a few minutes, it starts to bring out the oud in that, and then it brings up the rose as well, okay. So later on, it tends to become more of the oud and rose combination, so to say, okay. That's the first difference that you would kind of find between the two. Okay, now I've worn this multiple number of times to test this, but the last whole week I've been absolutely very busy with a little bit of a personal errand, so I couldn't really do the video as such. So I did the respray once again. So that's the primary objective as such. Then overall you will find a similar type of DNA between the both for the mid number of hours that you are wearing, but there is a difference. If you do about 4 sprays of this, 2 on your left, 2 on your right, this will start to choke you literally because it projects for a long time. Okay, those 4 sprays literally keep rubbing you off all the time, and for about 1.5 to 2 hours time, this one projects like absolutely crazy. You get beast mode projection on this. Whereas on the Muthalif, you do get that for about an hour's time, so to say. After the hour's time, you will start seeing that it softens down a little bit and goes towards a little bit more of a woodier approach. Okay, now overall, if you think about the scent profile of both of them, and if you think which one is more stronger, which has got a more value for money kind of an approach, I would say the Ibrahim Al Qureshi's Blue Oud is a lot more punchier, is a lot more louder, and because of that nature, it kind of brings you that value for money thing. That is, you always think that okay, this is one scent that absolutely performs. Okay, no doubt about this is really, really good. The logic of it would be, if you're doing 4 sprays of Ibrahim Al Qureshi's Blue Oud, you will have to do about 6 to 7 of it to get the similar type of a vibe. But even in that air, you will still notice the Ibrahim Al Qureshi's Blue Oud punches out Al Muthalif in terms of its overall projection and scent profile. Now, aside to that, the quality of scent, definitely both of them are almost at par. You do not get any kind of alcohol blast or anything as such. Between the two, it is quite an easy affair to pick up which one you actually want, because this retails to about 4,500 rupees roughly onwards. Okay, you might get it for roughly about let's say a little bit lesser than 4,000. So depending on what you kind of pay for, but typically retails to about 4,500 rupees plus, whereas this you should be able to comfortably get it sub 2,500 rupees. So there is quite a lot of price difference in both of them, and I think, if I'm not wrong, both of them are 100 ml fragrances as such. Okay, but if you ask the question which is about which is more closer to the OG, okay, in my opinion, the Blue Oud is a slightly more closer to the OG. In the air, when you wear both of them, or if you blend both of them, you can't really find differences. The difference that you will actually be able to find is the projection. Okay, because this projects for crazy loud, even hours later as well. This one projects really, really loudly, whereas this has a little bit of a softer approach compared to the both. Okay, but make no mistake when I say soft, these are not your typical soft scent. This is not. This is actually loud plus category. This is like a beast mode scent kind of category. Okay, so when you compare it with Blue Oud, NUSUK is a little softer. That's all I meant to say, but not a soft scent by any means. Okay, overall, scent quality, blend quality wise, both are fantastic fragrances. And if I had to pick between the two, which one should you get? It's no brainer. I would easily pick up the Blue Oud, hands down. If I have the budget to pick up a lovely fragrance that that does beast mode performance, that actually kind of also gets you compliments, but also can cause a lot of clawing headache as well if you are not accustomed to these kind of scents. Okay, this is definitely worth the money if you are able to spend about 2,500 rupees or lesser, and you want a fragrance that smells like Ombre Nomade, then yes, definitely you can kind of get this. The leather accord on this is a little lesser compared to this. This has got a lot more leather accord as well. So that's one difference as well. But otherwise, the floral vibe, I would say the rosy vibe is a lot nicer here. Okay, here it is a little bit more spicier on the approach and a little lesser on the rosier accord. Okay, having said this, these are fantastic fragrances. I highly encourage, if somebody is buying this, do not blind buy these two fragrances. If you are not accustomed to oud and oud rose type of fragrances, then definitely don't blind buy. Try a decant first and then get it. Decants are definitely available of this on our site as well. You can check. I hope there are still remaining. Okay, but yes, fantastic scent to get, especially considering wedding season, celebrations. Definitely not an office scent, definitely not a date night scent. Yes, works amazingly well for prayers, for large gatherings, for celebrations, all of that. Yes, definitely works for a party as well. On the whole, I kind of absolutely love this DNA because it feels a lot darker, it's a lot denser, a lot of spicy, leather, tobacco, oud, ambre elements coming together to make one of the nicest fragrances that you can actually experience as such, right? Do let me know what are other fragrances that you would like me to compete and tell you which one is better than the others. And I'll see you on another video. Until another time, take care. Bye-bye.